Hi guys, Bert Kammerer here with SAB Heli Division, and today I want to show you the main differences between the Goblin 700 and the brand new Goblin 700 Competition that is being released as of this week. I've received a lot of inquiries from people wanting to know what are the differences between these two helicopters and if the standard Goblin 700 can be upgraded or converted. Well, the answer is yes. Every single part that ships with the Goblin Competition is 100% compatible with the Goblin 700. And you do not necessarily have to upgrade your existing Goblin 700 to the Competition all at once. You can take your time to do so. But some parts are compatible without the need for other parts. Some parts have dependencies, as I would call it. And let's just talk a little bit more about this. Let's take a look at some of the differences here. I'll start talking about the tail. Goblin Competition tail has a few fundamental differences. As you can see here, this tail has a sort of a brace, as I call it, that makes the whole tail alignment easier as you're tensioning, adding tension to your tail belt. There's other important differences here. For example, the side plate here is made out of aluminum instead of carbon fiber. This gives the whole tail rigidity. And we now have also a dampened tail hub here. So this is the part that you're going to need for the brace, part number. Take a look at your screen here. You can buy that by itself. Same with the side plate for the case. You can buy this by itself. And here's a complete tail assembly for the Competition that is available or will be available very soon from SAB Heli Division. As you can see here, you get the tail output shaft right here. You get the hub, which is part of the tail output shaft, and you get brand new set of blade grips and a spindle, of course. You can buy these parts separately, but it makes more sense to buy this kit, just as you see it here. Another thing that you're going to need for your Goblin Competition helicopter for the tail are these linkages, and they basically connect the blade grips to your tail pitch slider. As we move on, we take a look at the boom here. The boom is basically made with the brand new technology. All that does is that the booms are now more consistent. The finish is better. They're all a little bit lighter, but they're just as strong. One significant difference here is that the new booms have this different mounting system. There's a huge advantage here, and that advantage has to do with the fact that because the boom is mounted directly to the mother plate or the main plate, you don't have any changes in the incidence of the boom. Before, we used to have a piece of CNC aluminum, sort of like a track, that would go inside the nylon bolts, and if that plate wasn't perfectly straight from the factory, you could have variances in clearance between the tip of your blades and the boom. Now every single boom will be the same. So this Competition boom is actually pretty cool. It's very interesting. It's a cool upgrade to have. This is one of the things I recommend getting, actually. And here's your part number. It's available only in yellow for now. Obviously more colors will follow in the future. This is the part that you will need to connect the boom to your mother plate, although this comes with the boom. If you want to buy a spare one, then obviously you're free to do so, but this does come with the boom kit. As we move on here, the head on the Competition is the HPS head. The HPS head comes straight out of the box. One fundamental difference here, though, that is not standard with the HPS head is the fact that with this new head, we have a two-piece grip. We also have a much stronger linkage right here. So if you do buy the HPS head kit, or if you already have an HPS kit, you still need to buy those parts. And obviously that adds the price quite a bit. So I don't really recommend getting the blade grips or the blade grip arms yet. Wait until you bent one or you damage one, then go ahead and get them. But those are the blade grips. These are the blade grip arms. It's a great addition. What it does is it basically allows you to crash your helicopter, bend the arm without having to replace the entire grip altogether. So it's a really cool feature there. These are the stronger linkages for the head. As you can see here, part number 0346-S, and you can add that to any existing HPS head. As we look at the frames are different. They're stronger. They're much taller. There's plenty of room for a bigger battery. These are the frames that you're going to need. You can put these frames on your existing Goblin without doing anything different. They will drop right in. So you can look at the front of the helicopter here in the frames. You have a lot more room for the ESC. We can fit a Cosmic or a large speed controller without an issue. We've basically changed the metal CNC plate that we had here to hold the ESC, and since the ESC is now mounting to the actual battery tray up here, now we just lighten this up and we're using a much lighter piece of carbon fiber here. So if you want to upgrade all this and make it exactly like the competition helicopter, you're basically going to, first you're going to have to buy the lower part of the battery tray that's in the helicopter. I guess we call it ESC mounting tray. This replaces the one that is long that comes with your standard 700. And as you can see, it's got some hole patterns already in place to mount some large speed controllers, again like the Cosmic or like the big Castles or like the big Scorpion speed controllers. This replaces right here the bottom CNC, existing CNC ESC mount that we have, just lighter. And obviously you're going to need to buy some of these spacers to install that piece of carbon fiber and replace your existing ESC mount. As we move on, we'll look at the motor here. We have a brand new motor mount. This is actually a pretty cool motor mount, not only because the design is different, that is sort of irrelevant, but it's actually cool because this motor mount has a bearing support for your motor. So what this does is this allows your motor shaft to last much longer, as well as your motor bearings, because now you don't have so much pressure being put on that actual shaft. Keep in mind though, this only works with a motor that uses a 6mm shaft. If you have a motor that uses an 8mm shaft, you do not need to get this because you are not going to use the bearing support for the motor right there. Up next, we have the battery tray. This comes standard with the competition kit. To install a battery tray, you're going to need to get this first. This is basically a battery tray stop, as we call it, and it goes in the back side of the helicopter mounted tray, and it basically stops the battery tray as you slide it in. This part is available already from SAB Heli Division. It's been available for a few weeks, or actually a few months, and this is the actual battery tray that you would have to get if you want to use the full functionality of easy removal and insertion of the battery. Up next, we have the low profile landing gear. This is standard with the competition. Some of you are familiar with it because some of you have the Goblin 630 that ships with the low profile landing gear. But anyway, this is not really a significant upgrade by any means. We just thought it looked better with the bigger frames if we put shorter profile landing gear. This is important here to mention, although it's not important to upgrade. The competition series comes with a 19-tooth slant pinion. The standard Goblin 700 comes with a 20-tooth. And the reason why we did 19-tooth is because by doing a 19-tooth up top, then we could go with a bigger motor pulley and have more belt engagement. And this is particularly useful for people that are flying 14S setups, because as you increase the voltage, you have to actually change the pinion in the motor to a smaller pinion. So by lowering the size of this pinion, the number of teeth, we're able to run a little bit bigger pulley in the motor. So you do not have to get this, but if you want to, 19-tooth slant pinion obviously is available. Here's the part number. And this is, of course, available as of right now. This is the same pinion, slant pinion that comes with the 770. Up next, we have a heavy-duty motor belt. This is a 19mm motor belt. It's a lot stronger. It's mainly designed for very high power applications. To be honest, I still have Goblins that have the standard size belt, and I've never had an issue with them. Unless you're planning to run something that's extreme as far as power or 14S setup, you do not need this. But if you want it, this comes as a kit. And this kit includes a few different parts. The belt, of course. It includes the tail pulley, that it's a different size and configuration, and the main pulley. And it has this spacer. And this spacer is designed to drop your servo on the boom so that you have more clearance, because now your tail belt is riding lower in the frames. If you have a competition boom, you do not need to install this because the competition boom is taller, so you have more room for your tail servo. But if you have an old tail boom or a standard tail boom and you want to do the big belt conversion kit, you do have to install this. It also comes with a new idler mount, because the idler position will change when you install the big belt conversion kit. If you go with the big belt kit, you need a big belt pulley for your motor. Obviously, I'm not providing you with part numbers because the part numbers vary. It depends on the size of the pulley that you need, how many teeth and so forth. And finally, if you go with the big belt conversion kit, you need this taller secondary shaft. This is the shaft that holds your slant pinion and your big pulley for the belt. This shaft needs to be longer if you're using the big belt conversion kit, because the main pulley is taller, so you need more room for it. Again, you don't need any of this if you don't plan on doing that. Up next, we have the quick release canopy mounts. They've been actually an upgrade for a while now, and they're standard with the competition helicopter. Here's the part number. The canopy for the 700 is actually much bigger now. So with the 700 competition, and if you get the frames to upgrade your existing Goblin, you're going to have to get a canopy. And you could get a Goblin Competition series canopy, or you can get a Goblin 770 canopy. They're basically, in essence, the same size. And as we look forward here, we have the different canopies with their part numbers. We have an orange canopy available, and here's the part number for both of them. Last but not least, we have one more thing. We have this, I guess we call it canopy protector or rubber bumper, whatever you want to call it. And what that does is that allows you to insert and remove the canopy, and you're never going to scuff the canopy or hurt the canopy as the canopy rubs onto your linkages or your swash plate and so forth. That is something that you can get obviously at any time. It's available from SAB for a few weeks now. Here's the part number. So that basically concludes the video here to show you the main differences between the standard Goblin 700 and the Goblin 700 competition. Obviously, the Goblin 630 would require a separate video, but I hope that this video was useful. And like I said before, you do not have to do the conversion all at once. You can focus, for example, on the tail first and get the tail and get the boom. To me, those are the most important upgrades. And as time moves on, if you ever have a crash and you break your frames, then that would be the right time to buy the frames and so forth. So again, hope this was useful, and I'll see you guys on the next video.